Hey everyone, welcome back to Dr. B Teaches and the 7th Generation podcast. Today we're talking about Billie Eilish and her award speech at the Grammys. No one is illegal on stolen land. This definitely kicked up a lot of dust, a lot of controversy, and I released a short form video giving my thoughts, sharing my feelings about her award speech, and it definitely stirred a lot of emotions. Some people didn't like what I had to say and accused me of being divisive. So I wanted to come back here and share some additional thoughts and kind of give people some context. And I don't watch these award shows, and I'll explain why later in this video, in this podcast. I was not paying attention to the Grammys. I could really care less about the Grammys and who wins these awards. It's just not something that I pay attention to. And I had some people send me the video, and we have a big discussion every semester in many of my sociology classes about popular culture, music, and art, and how that contributes to social movements. And one of the videos that we watch is on Billie Holiday's song Strange Fruit, which gained a lot of attention during her time because it was a polemic, it was an argument against the lynching of African Americans. So we watch a brief film about this song that Billie Holiday produces and sings, and eventually gets banned from radio. And it really is super controversial because she's singing this song in venues where there's mostly a white audience, and people are literally walking out of her shows because she's making them uncomfortable, really, with the truth, with the facts, which is that literally thousands of African Americans have been lynched in the South as a result of segregation and just the ugly race relations of that time. So she really brings a lot of attention. She uses her platform, right, to bring attention to this horrible issue that's taking place. And for the rest of her life, she is monitored by the FBI and the federal government. But she never stops singing this song, and she never stops representing for her community, even when she's forced to walk in the back door. I mean, some of the places that she's playing, she can't even walk to the front door because she's African American. So we were talking about this just the last couple of weeks, and that was one of our discussions. So the topic of Billie Eilish using her platform, this award show, to say the slogan, "No one is illegal on stolen land," it kind of fit into the discussion. So a lot of my students asked me, how do I feel about it? And I threw the question back at them, which often they don't like. They want me to share my feelings, but I try not to do that. I try to get my students to talk about how they feel about the topics and whatever it is that we're discussing in class. And so one of my native students said they felt it was definitely performative, and that it was a really good example of virtue signaling, and how a lot of artists do this, a lot of actors do this. And so I didn't necessarily agree with that or disagree with it. These were just thoughts that were being shared. Some people thought she was really brave, and she showed a lot of courage to be able to speak out against what's happening with ICE, and that she was in fact possibly even putting her career on the line. And I'm definitely not happy with these conservative right-wing hacks that are just attacking her and just dogpiling on her, and that's definitely not fair at all. And I want to get back to that as well. But yeah, one of my students felt, it was very brave for her to do this. And just for the record, Billie Eilish gives a lot back to climate justice, social movements. She obviously does care about these issues. And I don't think there's any doubt that her heart was in the right place. My feelings about it are a little different. It's not so much, does this person give back or is she helpful? It's just more, I have a problem with celebrity culture and celebrity worship. And personally, I just don't find inspiration from celebrities. I find inspiration from my students, from community members that are out there in the trenches doing the hard work. But this discussion that we were having in class was really great because it led into land acknowledgements and what they do and what they don't do, the idea of stolen land and what does that really mean. So it was a really fantastic discussion, and I appreciated all the input that I got from my students. And I think one of the things that bothered me about my video is that a lot of people, I felt, missed the point of it altogether. And I was accused of being divisive. I was accused of attacking this young lady. And I definitely have nothing against Billie Eilish. I can recognize that she has done a lot to give back, and she cares. Me personally, I don't really care what celebrities have to say. Now, if they're using their platform for something positive, I can get behind that. If their platform is inspiring people to do a search on what does that slogan really mean, and it kickstarts a discussion, I'm all about that. But it doesn't mean that everybody has to be inspired, that everybody has to stand up and clap. There doesn't have to be some uniform agreement on how we all feel about her giving that speech at the Grammys. And I felt like a lot of people who I am allied with, for obvious reasons, we share a lot of the same struggles, a lot of the same fights, felt like I shouldn't have no criticism whatsoever of celebrity culture and that I hate celebrities, and I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me that we all have to agree on any issue. I think that's absolutely absurd. I think that's unrealistic, and it's super unhealthy to even think like that. And that's what I loved about the discussion I have with my students, because it's open dialogue. It's us sitting and listening to each other, giving different perspectives. I had one of my students bring up Rachel Thunder, who had given a speech in Minneapolis just days before the Grammys. And she had said, no one is illegal on stolen land, and how that meant more to her because Rachel Thunder was Indigenous.
No one is illegal on stolen land. Native people, Indigenous people, historically, first we were savages, then we were radicals and anarchists during the civil rights movement. And now, along with our fellow allies and many of you here today, we are being labeled as violent domestic terrorists.
And how she wishes Indigenous women were given more attention for the work that they do. And I really thought that was very interesting. I like the idea as well as young folks being inspired by people in popular culture. And I think that is a function of popular culture. Obviously, when Billie Holiday is using her music, she's using it in a way to speak out against this really horrible thing that is happening to the Black community. Public lynching, the killing of Black folks. NWA, when they come out, they're speaking out against police brutality. So I definitely do see how popular culture, music can inspire people. I know that I was always inspired and always felt the music of Tupac, NWA always meant a lot to me. I don't come from the Black community, but I come from poverty. I come from a group of people who've experienced oppression, and I felt that in Tupac's music. And I felt like he understood kind of the struggle and whatnot. So I do understand how celebrities and musicians can have a major impact on our youth. And I definitely would never want to take that away from anybody, and neither should anyone else. But we shouldn't try to shut down other people's perspectives. And I think one of the things that my students have always taught me is to listen and to learn. And that's how I've kept my mind young, I feel, is just through listening to my students and talking to them about their experiences and how they feel about different issues. My feelings about life has changed dramatically over the years. In some cases, not so dramatically. And I feel much of it is due to what I learn each and every day as a professor, as a teacher. And there's just been so much wisdom and so much knowledge that has been passed on to me every time I walk into the classroom. And I'm super thankful for that. Super thankful to be able to have those healthy discussions. And something that I noticed, I guess it came to my attention when I released that short form video, is that there isn't a lot of spaces to do this. It's almost as if you have to just agree with everybody on your team, and there can never be any dissent, or else there's just something wrong with you. And I find that to be incredibly problematic. Let's go back to Billie Eilish and the attack on her by the right, because I think that's an important discussion to have. I definitely have watched several either content creators or people in the media just go on the offensive and go on the attack. And I do feel bad for her, because her heart is in the right place. And there's a lot of people who are taking that statement, the slogan, "No one is illegal on stolen land," and they're using the settler empire logic to deconstruct it. And it's just absolutely absurd. I've also seen this recycling of these racist tropes regarding Indigenous peoples and the mocking of Indigenous movements, which is really disgusting to me, and again, highly problematic. And so the backlash and the dogpiling that's taking place is unfair to her. It's really, really unfair, because she does do a lot. She's young and she's trying. And I do want to recognize that, even though I'm not a big fan of celebrity culture, I'm not a big fan of any type of celebrity worship. I think these are the worst people to listen to sometimes. And I have a big problem with this man bro culture that emerged from these really horrible podcast bros like Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and others like him. And these people just have way too much influence. And these are not the people that I want to hear from, want to learn from. I'm certainly not inspired by them. So was my initial video, was it unfair towards her? I personally don't think it was. You guys can go check it out and come to your own conclusion. I was asking questions, and I was also doing a critique of celebrity culture as well. And I think a lot of my feelings and my own personal emotions, and I did not share this with my students, but my own personal emotions come from what took place for almost a 2-year period in Palestine. There was a genocide in real time taking place, and people were just going about their business as if it was nothing. And in this day and age, with all this technology and the fact that you just can't hide the truth, you can't hide what's happening. People knew what was happening. People knew what was taking place, what's still happening to this day, and most people were silent about it. And I think it just comes across as the Hunger Games, right? You have these massive award shows. They cost millions and millions of dollars to put on, and you have people who are being slaughtered, or people who can't pay their bills, or people who are struggling. And I have my own feelings about high fashion and how these people come in and how they look. It reminds me of the Hunger Games, and I just can't watch it. It's hard for me, but that's my issue, if you want to call it issue. Those are my feelings. That's my take on celebrity culture. It's not a criticism of any one particular person, because I do respect certain individuals who will use their platform to do good and to speak out. So I am cool with whatever it is that people want to say. If a celebrity wants to talk about an issue, then so be it. But do others have to stand up and applaud? No, that's everybody's decision to make and how they feel about it. I have my feelings, my students had their feelings, I would never try to tell them, oh, you're wrong, you need to think like me, or try to shut people down just because they don't agree with you. It's just that's just unhealthy. It's absolutely absurd to have those feelings. And I want to circle back to Billie Eilish and her future. I know some people were critical of me. They said that, for one, I was being divisive, but also that she was putting her career on the line, which I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the right is going to always react the way that they do, because that's how these conservative hacks are. They're always looking for something to promote their own message. And of course, she gave them the ammunition with that slogan. Do I believe that she should be quiet and not say anything about what's going on? Absolutely not. If this is what is in her heart, then she should do it. If she does it, she has to also understand too, there's potential consequences of her speaking out. And for me personally, I don't agree with the consequences that she's currently experiencing, which is this really ugly backlash. And they're also, again, along with that backlash that's directed at her, where she's being criticized and she's being just overly critiqued, there is also the racism and the tropes against Indigenous peoples, saying that we're conquered people, that Indigenous nations were conquered and that the land was bought, and all this absolute nonsense. It's settler colonial psychology at work. And I think there's been an effort since this land was taken over by settlers to manage the history, to manage the viewpoints, and to give people this idea that the United States is this exceptional country, all about democracy, freedom, liberty, justice. And of course, there are people who have experienced this country differently. And I think this current administration is doing their best to try to suppress that history as much as they can, and they can't. There's just no way, not in today's day and age. But that's the whole point of a settler colonial nation, is to suppress these other voices. And I think what's happened over the last 20, 30 years, really going all the way back to the civil rights movements, you had the emergence of ethnic studies, cultural studies, women's studies, and the experiences of oppressed groups have began to be given a platform in academia, however small that might be, to be able to discuss these issues and to share that history, to share knowledge from these different perspectives. And that has been a very important change in our education, but it's really a minor change. And I've been doing this for years, and I've been in ethnic studies, Indigenous studies for decades now. And it's just been an uphill climb. And so to see what's going on with the attack on DEI and the attack on ethnic studies, I'm super thankful that I live in a state like California where we're pushing ethnic studies. So we're pushing this respect for diversity in different viewpoints. And that's definitely a positive thing. So just want to remind the people who are allies with me, all my friends and people who share similar thoughts, we have to be open to not always agreeing and not always having the same feelings about everything that comes up. Super important to remember that. There's room for us to be able to maybe even bicker a little bit about the directions of our social movements. And it's also important to note that our social movements aren't always going to align as well. There isn't one social movement. There isn't one way of looking at anything that's controversial, even with ICE and what's happening with people being snatched up off the streets. Not everybody is going to agree on how we should go about immigration and how we should go about dealing with some of the problems that we have. I think we could all agree, and we should all agree, what's happening in the streets is wrong. Separating families is wrong. Snatching people up and putting them in detention centers just based on racial profiling, all of that is wrong. There's human rights violations, I should say, that are taking place, and we should all agree that these human rights violations should not be happening. Now, are we all going to agree on what's the best way to go about it, and how do we move towards something that's more equitable and fair when it comes to immigration policy? We're just not all going to agree. I think just us being together and knowing that what's happening in the streets is wrong, what the Trump administration is doing with this backlash against DEI and diversity, all of that is wrong. Trying to erase the history, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. All right, so let's kind of sum this up. One, if celebrities want to speak out, they're obviously more than capable, welcome to do so. They can't expect us to always just stand up and applaud, even if we are on the side that they're supposedly speaking for. That's just unrealistic. Should they speak up? That's up for them to decide. I know that most people in Hollywood, celebrities, musicians that are making a lot of money, they typically give back to some type of charity or have a nonprofit, and they're doing something. They're attempting to give back in some way. And we should all do that. We should definitely all do that. Now, as far as award shows go and this Hunger Games style events, I'm not with all that. I'm just not. And I feel for all the people who are struggling around the world, here in America, whether it's, the reservations that are dealing with, lack of resources, or inner cities that are dealing with lack of resources. There's just a lot of people out there who are just having a hard time. Okay. I can recognize at the same time that popular culture, music, is a form of escape for people, and a lot of folks feel good when their favorite artist says something that aligns with their political views, or they say something that they feel like they can relate to. And I have had that experience before. And I'm hoping that somebody like Billie Eilish will continue to speak out if that's what she wants to do. And I hope that this backlash that she's experiencing will slowly go away, and she can get back to doing the things that she enjoys doing. Now, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to politics and award shows and sporting events, I think everything has just become a means to be able to share somebody's political views, and it's just completely out of control. This stuff with Bad Bunny and the halftime show and all the criticism, it just shows you that we're not in a good place. We're just not in a good place. All right, y'all. These are my thoughts. I really encourage you all, if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. I want to know what you think. Let's just keep the conversation polite, and let's respect whatever differences might exist between us. And if you want, you can go check out my short form video. The first one I did, actually did a follow-up short form video explaining kind of how I started even thinking about this topic. You can go check out both of them if you want. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like and share the video. And to all my Patreons, I appreciate you, all the support that you give me. And if you want to become a Patreon, go check out my Patreon. I try to release everything there first, so you guys can get all my content before anyone else. All right, y'all. Till next time, this is Dr. B, 7th Generation Podcast. Dr. B Teaches. Y'all take care.